A Jewish perspective on prophecy, Edom as Christianity in the end of days. In Jewish tradition, the symbolism of Edom in Scripture has long been associated with Christianity, particularly in the context of the study of the end of days. This symbolic link stems from historical, cultural, and scriptural interpretations. Many Jewish scholars and mystics over the centuries have developed a framework that suggests Edom, representing institutional Christianity, will play a significant role in the unfolding events of the Messianic age. According to these interpretations, Edom's fate is intertwined with the ultimate redemption of Israel and the coming of a world rooted in the worship of the one true God of Israel. What is Edom represented as in Jewish scripture and tradition? Edom historically refers to the descendants of Esau, the brother of Jacob, who became Israel. The two brothers are seen in the Bible as representing opposing spiritual forces, with Jacob being associated with the Jewish people and Esau with those who turned away from the divine path. The biblical prophets, especially Obadiah and Isaiah, prophesied the downfall of Edom due to its sins against Israel. Over time, as the Roman Empire adopted Christianity and became a powerful force in Europe, Jewish thought came to associate Edom with the Christian world. This association is reflected in various rabbinic and Jewish texts, where Edom is seen as representing the materialism, secularism, and perceived theological errors of institutional Orthodox Christianity. In particular, the Christian belief in the Trinity and the divinity of Jesus is viewed as idolatrous from Jewish monotheism. In the Jewish eschatological view, Edom's dominance symbolizes the spiritual and ideological enemy to pure monotheism. Edom's eventual collapse represents the triumph of the Jewish understanding of God's oneness, a pure monotheism in which neither a Trinity nor a God-man version of Jesus can exist. The prophetic vision of Edom's judgment. In the prophetic literature of the Hebrew Bible, Edom is often depicted as a nation that will face divine judgment for its mistreatment of Israel and its sinful ways. Obadiah, the shortest book in the Bible, is almost entirely dedicated to the condemnation of Edom, predicting that it will be utterly destroyed. The prophet states, "For the day of the Lord is near upon all the nations. As you have done, it shall be done to you. Your deeds shall return on your own head. But upon Mount Zion there shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness. The house of Jacob shall possess their possessions." Obadiah, January 15th, 17. This prophecy not only predicts the fall of Edom, but also hints at the elevation of Israel as a dominant spiritual force. The Jewish people will reclaim what is rightfully theirs. But this victory is not merely material. Rather, it is a spiritual conquest, where the ultimate victory lies in the recognition of the God of Israel as the one true God. Edom as Christianity and its being plundered of souls. In some Jewish interpretations, the idea of Israel plundering Edom in the end of days is not a physical plunder, but a spiritual one. As Christianity, representing Edom, loses its grip on the world, many souls will turn away from what is perceived as idolatry and come to embrace the pure monotheism of the Jewish faith. This aligns with the prophetic vision that in the Messianic age, all nations will come to recognize the God of Israel and abandon their false doctrines and idolatrous ways. The Jewish scriptures teach that in the Messianic age, idolatry will be completely eradicated. This can be understood to mean that Christianity, with its Trinitarian beliefs and the deification of Jesus, will be seen as a form of idolatry that will no longer hold sway. Deceiving the masses into worshipping a man as God in the flesh will come to an end. The souls of individuals who once adhered to these beliefs will be plundered and reclaimed for the service of the one true God and a true monotheism. This is not to say that Jews believe in converting the world to Judaism, but rather that in the Messianic era, all people will acknowledge the one God and live by the moral and spiritual principles laid out in the Torah. That God is one and there is no other. The diminishing power of Edom Christianity will be a sign of this transformation, where false theological constructs are replaced by a universal recognition of divine truth in God's oneness. The fall of Edom and the rise of Israel in the Messianic era. According to many Jewish sources, the decline of Edom in the last days will be one of the key indicators that the Messianic age is near. The power of Edom, which historically has been seen as material, political and spiritual dominance over the Jewish people and the world, will wane. As Edom's influence diminishes, Israel's spiritual role will ascend. This starts by Edom being stripped of its persecuting power over Israel. As history has shown, Edom, as the institutional Christian church, has been the major persecutor of Jews throughout the world for over 1,700 years. History has attributed to it the death of millions of Jews and non-Jews alike throughout the Dark Ages, Crusades, Inquisitions, as well as its spread of anti-Semitism leading to the Holocaust. Edom, and Christianity's persecution of Israel, finally comes to an end just before the Messianic Age. This shift is not just a geopolitical one, but a cosmic and theological realignment. The Messianic Age is described in Jewish tradition as a time of peace, righteousness, and universal knowledge of God. The prophet Isaiah famously envisions a time when the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord as the waters cover the sea. Isaiah 11:9. In this new era, Israel will be at the forefront, guiding humanity in the true worship of God, and all nations will recognize the sovereignty of God as expressed through his people. Edom's fall is symbolic of the end of an era where spiritual confusion and idolatry have reigned. In contrast, Israel's rise represents the dawning of an age of clarity, righteousness, and divine truth. The Messianic era is seen as the fulfillment of the promise that the Jewish people will be a light unto the nations, Isaiah 49:6, leading the world toward a higher spiritual understanding. Such revelation of light of truth to the nations plays a role in how Israel plunders the souls of humanity from the grip of Edom. Conclusion: the Millennial Age and the destiny of Edom. In Jewish end times view, the concept of Edom is deeply intertwined with the unfolding of the Messianic Age. Edom, representing Christianity and the forces that oppose true monotheism, will face divine judgment and its power will diminish. This decline will pave the way for the spiritual rise of Israel, which will not dominate through material conquest, but through a reclaiming of souls, people turning away from theological error and embracing the God of Israel. The fall of Edom is not merely a punishment for past misdeeds, but a necessary step in the redemption of the world. As the Messianic Age draws near, Edom's influence will fade, idolatry will be eradicated, and the knowledge of God will fill the earth. This vision offers a profound hope for a future where all humanity is united in the worship of the one true God, and Israel takes its place as a spiritual leader in the New World Order. This view does not diminish Judeo-Christian values or the words of the Bible that Christians personally hold in high regard. Rather, this view sees Christians finally being freed from the grip of institutional religion and idolatry and being enlightened to true monotheism and the God of the Hebrew Bible, the God of Israel.